This is the Run Recap.
I've seen videos of these where people can go and basically get props for working out. So some of those things you see where you see someone do something like there's no way they just did that, right?
Right.
And then you find no, they can go and buy like really legit looking like 45-pound plate stuff like that though, and they still add some weight to it, so it still looks like, so it has some, because you don't want it too light, because then it's obvious you're not doing anything. But 45s that only weigh like 20, that kind of thing.
It's movie weights, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But then, like everything
Yeah.
else, like the fake airplane that people use to go and record on, and are renting out a bunch of houses, or a bunch of guys like share the same Lamborghini, that kind of thing.
Right.
So anyway, I saw a video the other day. Like the big, like super ripped black guy that like tries to do all the mobility things.
Yeah, I love that guy.
And has the dog that's always in the way. Yeah, the guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was just trying to do it the other day where someone was so down in a plank, so on your hands, so hands and toes, and then you lift up a bench press bar, so 45-pound bar in one hand, and then you toss it, switch hands, and catch it in the other. But it's sitting straight up above you, so it's balanced straight up. So he's holding the bottom of it like this, like it's straight up, and he's out in the plank.
Yes, I saw that, and I'm like, I didn't see him
Throws
try
it,
that. I
switches
saw
hand,
the
catches
original.
it. Yeah.
I saw the original video of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then watched him try it. Like he went all the way down to like just getting a handle.
Yeah.
Tried to do it and couldn't do it. Like, this guy's super strong. Like, makes you think like, oh, that original one, that's got it. Maybe that's not real at all. Because if that guy can't even get close, like not even because then he went down to smaller and smaller bars for weights and still could not do it at all.
I appreciate you bringing that up though, because I actually really want to try that.
Probably should.
Now I
Like,
need to.
when think about the amount of weight that would fall on you if you did, like, if you it falls and hits you from behind, like that is a lot of weight coming down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna start lighter. I'll start with a dowel, right? And then I'll move up to like we have Versa bars, which are just like those black weighted bars.
Right.
I think our lightest one is like 18 pounds. Like I just start there, and then work up. But although that dude is, I mean, he's huge.
He is huge.
I don't know how tall he is, but he's jacked. He's big, strong muscles. And there's some things that he's tried though, where I'm like, usually the stuff I see him try are like mobility challenges, right?
Right.
You can tell
he's trying to do
so
things
tight.
that obviously he's not in shape to do
Of
at
course.
all. That's
And
not
that's the
even
funny
that is
part
the
of
point
that.
of like, look, I got giant muscles and let's watch me just totally fail. I saw him do a Pilates class the other day. And
Yes, I've seen that one.
Yeah, anyway, and that was so great just to show he's like, I'm strong. I'm not this kind of strong. He's a different type of strong.
And he's often doing like mobility challenges where he's like, and he even says like, I'm like, my mobility has gotten better. Like look at this progress. But and he's like, usually it's often like women doing stuff where he's like, it's really complimenting how strong women are. Right?
Yeah, and that's what I love about.
He can't come close to it.
That's my favorite thing about his channel is that it's exactly that. It's complimenting other types of strong, and that's a cool thing.
But he's done a couple challenges. I can't think of what they are off the top of my head. Where I saw it and I'm like, you should be able to do this.
Yeah.
Like you are strong. It's not necessarily excessive mobility.
Right.
And you can't do this exercise. Like, come on, man. Like you should be able to do that exercise.
What's really
You're not
funny,
strong in so many ways.
What's horrible, then I have then the same issue because I have his mobility and like half the size. Like I don't even have the muscles.
No, you're more mobile than he is for sure.
Maybe a little bit, but there are things like
100%.
I watch him how he has to move his legs, and I'm in bar class doing the same thing, like trying just to like, like I can't sit up. Like I can't sit cross-legged and not fall over backwards, things like that.
Right,
and I feel like I'm moving these big legs around to get him in position so I can sit up, and like using my arms to get my legs in position. But my legs are sticks. Like this doesn't make any sense. It's not like I'm moving these huge boulders of muscles. Like
right.
Like these sticks should move. There aren't not muscles in the way. That's not my problem.
It's true. You do just have excessive tightness, and that's like your main issue.
But I'm doing yoga now, and I did it once, and it is the best exercise that you can do, for sure. I mean, besides swimming's probably still the best exercise. Yoga's the second best exercise. You can't get hurt doing it. I've never known anyone to get hurt doing yoga, so I'm a true believer. that I did do it, and I agree completely. It's absolutely the
Have
best,
you?
and it is the best thing for me.
Okay, no. Where's the sarcasm? I can't tell the line of where you're at. Have you? Okay, so have you actually never known someone who's gotten hurt?
No, no, actually, everyone I know that takes it seriously is currently injured, but and like and has been for like a year.
That's funny. Because it's not one of the disciplines that's like I would say a high injury rate, but I do know again the people who do a ton of it all of my clients have battled a lot of injuries.
It just happens that when I first heard in the book Born to Run, he says that he's like everyone says you get older you should work on your mobility. He's like that's probably true, and then that kind of thing. He's like, but everyone I know that takes up yoga gets hurt. So, and then I heard that like 10 years ago, and then I've been just watching that
So
be,
funny.
just like made my anecdotals like been, yeah, that's kind of what follows. But if enough people that and appreciate stuff like that tell you that something's true after long enough, you just got to agree that yes, it's true.
Yeah, of
So
course, it is the best thing that
every
you
time
could
someone
ever
sees me
do
try to touch my
with your
toes,
body.
you should do yoga. Yes, you're right. I should do yoga. I have started to do yoga. I'm taking it pretty seriously, and I agree that it's the best, and it's been extremely helpful.
Okay, so serious for a second. Uh, Here's my issue with yoga. In as an exercise form, it does a lot of decent strengthening, body weight strengthening exercise movements, right? And a lot of balance and a lot of flexibility, mobility, and that is true. Here's my one problem with yoga, having caveat, never done it. I'm very familiar with it, but I haven't actually done it. But I know movements. I've watched a lot of classes.
Sure.
There is no pulling motions. So your back as a contraction, right? As an actual contracting your back and moving your body in that direction, a horizontal pull or a vertical pull, do not happen.
Right.
You can't do it. It's impossible. There's nothing to pull on. Your back can get very strong as a stabilizer, right? And it can have flexion in certain movements, but you're never getting a pulling motion. And so your forearms and your T-spine and your rhomboids and your lats just don't get contracted work.
Yeah, I
And
can
that's
see.
the
Yeah,
problem with yoga,
it's that where you just have
right?
an imbalance there.
Yeah. So and you have so many prone positions. Prone meaning like in a plank, like a high plank
Right.
push-up position. So many of those positions that oftentimes the shoulders, the rotator cuff, your triceps get overactive, and you have a huge imbalance.
Right. Yeah.
One more thing before I'll stop my rant. The other thing that they run into a lot is, I just lost my train of thought. My third issue with yoga.
Well, while you're thinking on that,
No.
well, while you're thinking on that, yeah, with yoga, I know there's a lot of different types of yoga, and I think that
Yeah.
can be a lot of difference because, and this is something that you have much more knowledge in than I do, but in stretching, I have found that static stretching often does not seem to be very helpful, where more movement involved stretching seems to be more helpful. And I think there's a place for each one, but in general, I feel best if like there's like a flow yoga, I think is one thing where you're constantly moving into different movements and not just sitting holding a pole for an extended period of time. And
Yeah.
and in all my other athletic endeavors, it seems that to hold a static position for a long period of time in some kind of a stretch is often needed for a specific issue that you're working on. So for instance, like rock climbers will do it to keep their shoulders from getting too tight because you're doing so many basically chin-ups, is that shoulder gets so tight it starts grinding. So you need to you need to hang for a long period of time so it can release, and there's places for that. But I think what I've noticed for myself anyway is that a more active stretching, a more like we move to a further position each time, but we're not gonna stay there very long. We're just gonna move there and get back out.
Yeah.
Tends to be more useful.
Well, here's the issue. I agree and disagree. We went from real sarcastic to real serious real fast.
Right. Well, I think that's the whole point is that like I'm sarcastic about it because it's like it's a one-dimensional argument, and like
Exactly.
no, it's not saying it's bad, not saying it's good. It's like this is a thing, and I think it has its uses, and I think it also has its detriments, as I'm personally watching people get
Right.
hurt. Like, there's got to be a detriment here. I think I'm seeing it,
Yeah.
but I might not know, and I don't do it enough, obviously, to know that well. But that's just my
Yeah.
intuition on it.
Okay, so a couple points first. Back to my third point that
Yeah.
that I was forgetting is push-ups. Yoga always does a tricep push-up. They do an elbows tight roll,
Yeah,
roll
yeah.
narrow
They never move
push-up.
out.
And
Yeah, it's said
so
it's bad to move out, actually.
you never move through your chest. So your
Hmm.
chest gets little to no work, and it's always triceps, and not just shoulder, anterior deltoid. So it's just the front of your shoulder.
Right.
So much work, right? So it's just, it creates a lot of imbalances. But to your point with stretching, so I would say I'm actually more on your side of stretching, especially the longer I do this and train people and work on myself. I think movement and I'm going to use mobility as kind of what you're talking about, like
Yes.
moving through stretches and not just holding one thing for a long time, not a static stretch. I think mobility in that regard is better than a static stretch. However, I think most people do a static stretch wrong and don't do it correctly. So I think that's why they don't feel any
Yeah,
progress.
and
why
is
they
it
get
that a
so
static
stuck.
stretch has more potential risk in it because you're holding
No.
that, so not doing it right might actually be a problem?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No. No, it doesn't have any excess risk. It's really that your body is constantly trying to protect yourself, and so it's trying to keep you out of away from injury, and some of it's it's like, it's probably more complicated than this, but I always look at it as kind of like three main components: is your psychology, so what your mind is doing in the moment, and how it's handling a pain or a resistance. There's your nervous system, right? So your nervous system, where you can't actually think to control very well, right? You have to do a breath work, or you have to learn to trick your nervous system into allowing something to happen. And then it's man, I'm forgetting my third points on all of these. It's so funny. And then and then it's internal. So then it's actually your organs. Well, not organs, but it's there's a mechanism in your muscle called the Golgi tendon organ, and what that is responsible for is keeping your muscles from tearing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to a stretch, so you go to touch your toes and you feel the stretch, that's not really your muscle as much as it's the Golgi tendon organ saying, "Hey, stop.
Right.
I'm not ready for this. I don't think you should go past this point. Don't go further."
Mm-hmm.
So most people go into the stretch and they hold the stretch, and more often than not, they hold it for 20 seconds, 15 seconds. Maybe they're doing really good and they're holding it for 30 plus seconds. But unless you're actively relaxing and breathing and getting your nervous system to relax and telling the Golgi tendon organ to chill out, you're not going to find benefit. Most people are in that stretch and they're tense. They're not trying to relax. They're tense. They're holding like, let me strain and get further. When it's like, that's not going to get you more mobile. That's not going to get you better. If you stretched properly in a static stretch, you will absolutely see improvements. Now, additional point is, I don't think that touching your palms to the floor for everybody with perfectly straight legs is necessary.
It's not a useful movement that you do very often. I can't do it at all, and I've never felt the need to.
I think there's like a base amount of mobility that would benefit everybody, but I don't think it needs to be excessive. And if like you feel pretty good and you can do all of your movements decently, and you're actively trying to stay mobile, then I think that's usually good enough, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and I think that's always, take into account everyone's bodies has a different, you and I have an inherent amount of tightness that's just there. So and Christy the opposite way around, she has hypermobility, and so for her, she has to go a lot further before anything stretching. And so that's our starting platform there. And so it's like, I'll never be able to bend like she can. That's just not even possible.
Yeah, well, and some of that is like, for me, I got, you go through puberty and you get real tight, and because like before growth spurts, I was fine. I was super mobile. I was really flexible. And then you get tight and you don't stay on top of it while you're growing, and so you build up tension. I kind of hit my peak mobility at like 35 between 30 and 32 probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was the most mobile I've ever been. I'm still good. I feel I'm very happy with how flexible I am. I would like to be, there's a couple areas that I'm working on, but for the most part, like it is, you just have to stay working on it.
Yeah.
And consistent.
I hit mine just after turning 40.
Oh yeah, see,
I had an injury and I had to get massages and chiropractor every single week for like 6 weeks. And after it just basically just constantly breaking down those muscles and stuff like that, just getting to loosen up. And pretty soon like, oh, I can touch my toes for a little bit here, you know? And,
right.
yeah.
It's important to like it dependent upon the time you have to put into it, right? Right now I don't have the time. Like I used to have my morning routine, and not to talk up morning routines, but it worked for my schedule. Where I was doing my push-ups, my mobility, and my breath work like clockwork. Mm-hmm. Just like that's how I started my day. It felt really good to do that, and I haven't done that in obviously 3 years.
Right.
Well, he's 3.5, so 3.5 years. So it's like someday I'll get back to those things that make me feel the best, but. Yeah, that's not this phase of life, so that's okay.
So I get laughed at when we talk about mobility, and people laugh at me when I say like, well, yeah, I do Christy's class twice a week, so I stretch twice a week. I do an hour of most of the movement involves like full range of motion, actually some really deliberate stretching and stuff like that through it too. And anyway, people are like, that's not stretching. I'm like, hey, that's 100% more than I've ever done in my life. So getting me to where I'm going to do it every single. Does anyone do it? I mean, you might do it every single day. Like you said, you had your morning routine where you did it, all the time.
Well,
and so maybe some people. I don't know anyone that actually does that every single day though. Do people actually do that?
I don't know. My world revolves around trainers,
right?
So, and trainers do stuff habitually and consistent,
Yeah.
So like, I would say though, when I got the most mobile was not from having a mobility routine every day. It was from shifting my awareness to my daily movements. Mm-hmm. So every time I got up off the floor, got out of a chair, push up off something, I would practice in doing it as good as possible and getting into a deep stretch on the movement and coming out of it with good posture. That's what shifted for me.
Yeah, and actually,
just do the things.
To that point, there are certain things that I do the same thing with, especially with like squats all the way to the floor. Like it's just when I'm going to pick something up, I do it in that motion. Honestly, because I felt the benefit from it with training and then learning to like have that mobility. I found so much use in it that now, I do that where I do stretch that out. Probably 10, 15 times a day, just because that's how I pick stuff up now. Because it feels good for all those things that stretches. I pick those things up and everything. And anyway, I just like that. So,
exactly.
Yeah. And so that is good to like just find. Well, it's okay. So that gets into like we were talking about last week, basically, right? Like it's all, we just, it's all about moving all the time.
Right.
And that tends to be the most healthy thing rather than saying, okay, well, I'm going to really focus on this for this time. Instead, integrate those things into your life constantly. And that's where things work, if you can.
Yeah. But I feel bad for a lot of people that just don't have the awareness of the body, because it's going to deteriorate so fast when you don't. And I'm not talking even exercise. I'm just talking like awareness of what's tight and what's going to hurt. And like, yes, of course, I think everyone should exercise, but like, I'm just thinking about mom and dad were down with Aunt Diane, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And mom was telling me that she tweaked her knee, like, I don't know, 4 months ago or something, or in December, maybe tweaked her knee, and then never got it fixed or looked at because of, I don't know, a handful of reasons. And now like her hip is being all funny, and like she's older, and a little injury can cascade into something bigger. And it's like, it's such an easy fix. You need to get it fixed so that you don't have to get a hip replaced or whatever, and so having that like awareness of I should keep my mobility as best I can, even if it's just daily movements, is super important. I was shocked. You were saying you can't sit cross-legged. I was shocked that Dad, I can't remember, last a year ago maybe, I don't remember. We were downstairs. We come over to visit and got on the floor, and I was just sitting down there cross-legged.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I didn't realize you were that mobile. For some reason, I thought he was a lot tighter than that because he has
Right.
other tightness that we've talked about in the past. He's asked me about, and I'm like, oh, that's a thing that you can do in your 70s. That's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
that's really, really good. And I told him that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just assumed you couldn't do that. Like, that's such a good thing.
I couldn't do that in grade school.
Really? Even in grade school? You
In
couldn't do
grade
that?
school, I couldn't do it. Yeah, so if you were talking about like you got
Hilarious.
growth spurts and puberty and all this stuff, I'm like, I remember being 8 years old and everyone's like, sit cross-legged. I'm like, I fall over though, so I have to kind of sit on my knees or I have to do this other thing because I just fall over. Like this doesn't work.
It's it's just because your legs aren't big enough and strong enough, and your upper body's just too jacked. Even in
That's
grade
it,
school.
right?
And so
I'm
you just tip
imbalanced.
over.
I just especially
Yeah.
at 8 years old, I was
Yeah.
huge.
You were just too ripped on your upper body, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
that's
it's
too
the
bad.
price I pay, And
Do you? Whoops, wrong button. I have a good topic for today, unless you have one off the top of your head.
I have one that let me just do a thing real quick, just talk about something we message each other about. And this might be a short little thing, but I just need to this grinds my gears, okay?
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
good. Was this the thing I sent you?
Yes.
The other day.
See, it said me thing, and I don't
wonderful.
remember what specifically it said, but it had this thing of it was staying fit with a parent with young kids, and it's really not that hard. All you got to do, and then of course it didn't say, and you have to hit the thing to see what it says. And then it has this list, and I hope the thing was a joke or something. A list of 10 things, and it's like this, specific dietary thing you got to do. Make sure you have this much protein and this much whatever, and I don't know if this one was exactly that, but we're inundated with this stuff of all you gotta do is do these 10 things every single day and be no problem. And it's like, no, if it's 10 things from this guy and it's 10 things from that guy and it's 10 things from this person over here, pretty soon you're like, okay, so I'm trying to, make sure I eat, 7,000 pounds of protein every day. And I'm trying to also make sure I have my carbs up to this amount. And I'm also supposed to make sure I hit this up and all that. And it's like, well, if I do all these and these all don't, the math doesn't work. And now we've made everything so complicated, and you're making your body freak out that first of all, you're stressed out now over trying to figure out how to live at all.
Yeah.
And trying to make sure everything's working. You feel like you're failing everywhere, right? Because there's too many things to do. And as soon as you get this one down, someone else is going to say everything you've been doing doesn't work, which you might feel like because your body's now bloated because you just changed everything that you usually do. And it's freaking out trying to figure out, okay, how do we handle all of this new food that we didn't know how to process? We're trying to figure that out. And you're like, well, this isn't working. So maybe this guy's right. So now I'm going to do what this guy says and do all that stuff. And, he has a six pack, so this must be true, right? So we're going to follow that guy does. And we're doing that for a week. And then your body was just starting to get used to this. Now we're doing this other thing over here, and the whole time, you could have just been running around with your kid, go chase your kid, right? How fast, go race and play with them, lift your kid in the air a whole bunch, right? You can do weighted squats and if you have a 2-year-old, you can put that kid in front of you and do weighted squats and throw them in the air and so get the best workout you ever had in about 10 minutes. And your kid's gonna be stoked, and then go try and race him a little bit, for 25 yards, and you're gonna be out of breath, and that's awesome. Ever play on a jungle gym with a kid? We don't have those muscles anymore. Just go do that. Go chase him around the jungle gym for a few minutes. I don't care what kind of shape I'm in. I get worn out trying to just copy what Bennett's automatically doing because he's all made of rubber and bouncing off everything and all over the place. Try and chase Bennett on a jungle gym. And that's going to be the best workout I got that day, When was the last time you did monkey bars? Have you done monkey bars recently?
I tried. It's really hard.
It's really hard. I just saw Bennett do them. It was no problem at all. He just swung through them like a monkey and everything. And I rock climb. I can do a ton of chin-ups. I can do all this stuff in great shape. And monkey bars was really hard. Anyway, so so this guy's thing was here, how to be present with your kid and stay in shape with small children stuff, and then made a list that's not attainable. I'm
it's worse. Here's the list.
Okay, go ahead.
I found it. Yeah. So the post of this reel, he said, "Do you know those dads who have a ton of energy and never get out of shape? Here are their secrets." Right. So this is obviously probably a harder point than he intends because he's trying to get clicks, right?
And we're also going to say you and I are dads with tons of energy and stay fit, right? So let's see, how many of these things are we doing? Go ahead.
Yeah. So number one, they wait 90 minutes after waking before drinking coffee. I obviously replace tea with coffee because I don't do coffee.
Okay. You wait your 90 minutes?
Not a chance. But not for the caffeine. It's not
No.
the caffeine. I like to have something warm in the morning.
Yeah, I don't think
I
the caffeine
wake up-
does anything for me, but I'm easily like 15 minutes. Like as fast as the coffee get made is when I'm drinking it.
I don't rush it. I do have like a certain amount of water I like to drink first.
Okay.
Because I'm usually thirsty and you need water, right? So I drink water first, and then I'll do my tea. But like, yeah, no, I'm not waiting 90 minutes.
No.
They supplement 3 to 5 grams of creatine every day.
Do you currently take creatine?
Currently, but like it's a brand new thing.
Yeah.
I didn't do it for a long time. I don't like to supplement stuff if I can avoid it.
I've gone through phases of taking it, phases. I've gone through phases taking it and phases not taking it, and I can't tell the difference. So
Also, 3 to 5. They currently suggest 10.
Okay.
So update your shit, man.
so second thing, we don't do any of it.
Yeah, no. They take 2 to 5 grams of omega-3s daily for less aches and pains.
I take no omega-3s.
Move
Zero.
your body. Aches and pains. What do you? That's the thing. Okay, I'll go back to that. Aches and pains. Remind me. They take 500 to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day for your immune system. Not a chance.
Never. I can't remember the last time I took any vitamin C.
No, I take vitamin D, but that's because I live in Seattle.
I ate
Not a
4
lot of
oranges
sun.
today.
So you do. You
I
supplement
do.
with vitamin C.
That's
a
my
lot.
candy.
They try to consume dietary cholesterol within an hour after weightlifting to boost strength gains.
I have eggs and toast. Is that dietary
don't-
cholesterol?
I don't know what he's specifically talking about. I don't intentionally consume dietary cholesterol. I try to eat when I'm done working out because usually I haven't eaten yet today.
And you're really hungry.
I'm really hungry.
You get really hungry.
You know.
Get a lot of food in you.
Let's see, number 6, they use the sauna for 30 minutes straight after exercise to accelerate muscle growth.
Can you do a sauna for 30 minutes?
I hate saunas so much.
Have you ever done one that like I can't do 30 minutes?
Yeah, I have. I don't like it.
I enjoy it a little bit, but I'm like 15 minutes I'm out, and I don't do it every day at all. I do
I'd
maybe
rather
once a
do-
week at the most.
I'd rather do a 2-minute cold plunge over a sauna.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know, it's not for me. They use cold plunges first thing in the morning to increase metabolism. No, I don't have a cold plunge.
Nope.
Although I would do a cold, not first thing in the morning. I would do a cold plunge though if I had one.
Oh yeah, I would do it all the time.
have
Yeah,
one.
even if I had the river closer, I'd just jump in that all the time too. And
Yeah.
It's just too far away. But I do love it. Like you do feel for cold plunge, you do feel an instant change.
Yep.
And
I enjoy it.
that's awesome. But again, we're
So-
not doing that every day.
That's fine, but I never do it.
Yeah.
I haven't done like a true cold plunge since college. I mean, I've done cold rivers and that kind of stuff, and I've done some ice baths and stuff, but like an actual cold plunge, I haven't done since college.
Yeah, and I've never done a real one. I've just gotten in the river in the winter.
Yeah.
So
Right, exactly. We had for a couple seasons, the Seahawks their training camp was in Cheney, and so we had their like hot tub cold plunge.
Oh, nice.
Like big, huge hot tub cold
Cool.
plunge. That was left over for like preseason.
Yeah.
And so we would use that periodically. They choose fresh air and outdoor activities with their kids over watching movies on the couch.
Oh,
Okay,
100%.
One.
100%. Right there.
We
Yep.
got one.
Absolutely.
Number 9. First one.
Absolutely. There we go.
Now, that's not to say I don't watch movies with my kids, but we go outside constantly.
Yeah.
They have great friends who support them and lift them up rather than cut them down when they succeed in life. Well, I don't have a ton of friends, so I'm kind of 50-50
Yeah.
on that one.
And are they friends if they're cutting you down? Like, do you have friends like that?
No.
No.
I don't. No,
Like-
I'm not going to talk to those people.
My only friends that do that, they do it jokingly, and then I tease them about it. So.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so stupid. Anyway, that's the guy's post. It's completely idiotic.
Yeah, but it's a great representation though of just all the flood of information to make you feel guilty, like you're not doing enough, not doing the right thing. If only I did this thing, then my body would do this other thing that I'm trying to make it do, and I think people often can bounce around so much you never get used to anything. and then your body never
Right.
gets used to anything, and you never actually see the results because you just change what you're doing every week, And
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be doing all of that. I mean, that's strict. Can you imagine following that exactly? Like I mean, you'd get to the point where you would accidentally do all that stuff,
pretty
right?
soon
Like
you just
it
do
would
it.
take
Yeah.
a little bit to get into the routine, and then you would just be doing it.
As
But
far as
like, yeah, yeah. Because actually, now that you think about it, like if I would break down what I eat and the reason for all of it, it would sound crazier than that probably. Like it would sound pretty darn specific and regimented when the reality is like it took 15 years to figure out this is how I do things and this is how
right.
my body responds to it and these are the nutrients I need and now it's just whatever. I
Yeah.
eat this stuff and I wake up at this time to get that stuff. Like it's just so simple. But yeah, if I actually broke it down like that, I could make it sound very complicated.
Yeah, and I guess in a way, some of those things, like we're saying, okay, as far as the vitamin C goes, yeah, I probably do just because I really like oranges. So I probably,
Yeah.
I probably actually have that much vitamin C. And then vitamin D is like, yeah, of course, I'm outside all the time, so I get tons of vitamin D, to recharge
Yeah.
my solar panels, and so so yeah, I do that stuff, and then yeah, and as far as the other dietary, it's like I wonder how much of that isn't just the food that I'm automatically eating. Am I actually getting? Yeah, probably I eat a bunch of eggs. I think there's a lot of good cholesterol in eggs or something, isn't there?
There is
Yeah,
tons. And
so I eat a bunch of eggs because I like eggs and I get really hungry, and so
also, though, like I don't know why he's pointing out the cholesterol part of it. Like eggs are just really. I mean, he didn't say eggs, but like eggs,
right,
as an example, are just one of the best proteins you can eat. Or no,
right,
not one of. They're the best protein you can eat. So why? I don't know, cholesterol or not. Like it's the best protein.
yeah,
As for aches and pains, though, the aches and pains I have now are no worse than when I was 20 years old. No worse. In fact, they're better in some ways. When I was
mine's
20,
definitely better.
I had a lot more, and I had a lot more aches and pains, and I think partially that was due to just the overuse and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's aches and pains of getting old. If you stay mobile and stay moving, you're fine. You're not gonna have
Yeah,
aches and pains.
I honestly I have way less now than I have in the
Yeah.
past. So I
Aches
probably
and
was in.
pains, aches and pains coming from being stagnant and static.
Yeah, I was in my most pain when I was about 30, and that's when I had a job where I was sitting at a desk all day long.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and that's just, man, that just kills you.
Right. No, it's the worst. I feel bad for people that are stuck in those type of worlds where like they just sit all day long.
Yeah,
So
and a
many
lot of
my
people have
clients-
to. I mean, that's the majority of jobs. You have to do that, and that is, yeah, I think that's the biggest deterrent to some of those things. Like if you really think about needing to sit still for that long, like that's just, like, yeah, that just tears you apart.
Right. Yeah. It's so bad for you. I mean, they used to think that like the standing desks were better than sitting desks, but they found that it's actually no different. The
Yeah.
standing desk is exactly the same as a sitting desk as far as the problems it causes, because it's
Sure.
still not movement.
Right.
You're still
Yeah.
not doing anything or going anywhere or going up and down or any of that stuff. And so, yeah, it's interesting. We try to get around it and find better things, but it just doesn't work. You got to move.
Yeah. So then there's the treadmill desk, but I can't imagine trying to
Yeah.
type and walk at the same time. I'm not sure I
No,
could get
I thought the same thing. Yeah, I thought
I'm not
about
sure I'm
that.
coordinated enough for that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. What do we got for an additional topic for today? Well, actually, before we get into that, no. We'll just go right into it. Okay. So this is an interesting one. Have you ever had the athlete identity crisis?
Describe athlete identity crisis.
This is how we're going to describe it. I've heard people talk about this in different ways, not necessarily using that phrase, but people who compete a lot and then stop competing, and they feel very like displaced, right? And they don't know who they are, don't know what their purpose is in life, and we'll be broad and we won't say like competing strictly. We'll say like training hard, right?
Sure.
wrapping up your identity in that thing. Have you ran into that, the fall off of either getting burnt out from it or just for whatever reason having to stop doing it, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just missed it. Like that's it. I loved competing. Like that's what running for me was. It was racing that was fun. It was the
Yeah.
yeah, and even when I was a little kid, just racing dad. Like that was the thing. It's like I was always strategized because my dad could out sprint me all the time. Like even when I got fast, he could still out sprint me. So I had to find I had to strategically wear him down first, and find. So I mean, I'm I'm 11, 12 years old trying to figure out how to wear my dad down so I can beat him at the end, but it's and I'm not I don't see myself as a very competitive person. I don't, as I've been more reflective and older and watching and being more cognizant of how normal people behave. I'm not sure any of that's true. I think I actually am extremely competitive, and and I worked really hard to let go of that for a long time, and to just be no, I'm just gonna be out, just beat. I don't know. It got super hippie, just be at peace with what I'm doing and just feel movement to be healthy and all of that. And that's what I was doing, by running and climbing and all that stuff, and just still moving a whole bunch, but purposely not wearing a watch. I have no clue how fast I can run. I have no clue of these distances. I'm going to stop whenever it's interesting to stop, or it's more fun to do something besides run. And I'm going to climb this thing, or I'm going to walk over here, or whatever. And just kind of let myself just do what my body felt like doing, and just go out and have fun outside a whole bunch. And so I had that. So I went through that phase for a while, and it was fine. I don't think it was good for me necessarily. So I think I needed more peace in my life at the time. It was just, I was going through a lot of hard things. And so I think it was a good thing for me for that time, as far as overall health goes, or even just for my own brain in general. I don't necessarily think it was a good thing. I think it delayed a lot of things of where I was really trying to get in life. And,
Interesting.
and allowing, instead of being embarrassed. So I think it's the other trouble we run into. It probably fits into this thing of, when you do compete competitively all the time, and then you go and try and have fun with people, then you can be way too much.
Yeah.
So it's you gotta back off in order to have fun, when you're not actually just doing a sport where everyone's trying to do something in this area. And so it's always complicated there. And I like that, I got into skateboarding and into downhill skateboarding right away. We got to have fun, lighthearted competition, but yet but it was also still pretty serious competition. Nothing mattered, but it was serious competition, and so we all, you make fun of each other. You all got to beat each other, and really and if you win down there, I mean, you would show off how much you won by, so the goal was, if you can be down to the car and have your helmet off, gloves off, shoes off, a beer already open and sitting drinking it before they got there. So you'd rush together, be I've been here forever. Why, when you guys finally showed up, and so, and we'd have
awesome.
actually, a fake point system that didn't matter, but you get extra points for doing that. If you get all the way set, oh, now you're here,
Yeah.
So, anyway, and then even calling people out about, there's the whole, Shane McConkey thing of calling people out for being pros. Oh, you're a pro. I can't believe you're a pro. I can do way better than you, and just see how people handle it. And anyway, so that whole competitive nature was in that, and I had a fun outlet there where it was just fun. Nothing mattered, but it was still probably some of the most competitive times of anything I've done, And then, but no, but I think giving myself a place to still be an athlete. I guess to avoid this identity crisis, not do it. Find a place where I can be super competitive.
I reject the premise.
Yeah, it would really okay. Well, I guess I just love to be able to bring that, actually really have that in my life. And I might be racing 12-year-olds at a 5K locally, whatever. But having an outlet for work hard for something physically, and then go and try and actually beat people, try and go out and be super competitive, not mean, but mean and competitive are two different things, right? There's there's the guys that are like that. That's a totally different thing. Competitive is I'm going to try and beat you as hard as I can. Now, if you beat me, I'm going to say, awesome job. That's incredible. Yeah. And maybe you've asked how you did it. What'd you do different? Because I'm going to try and beat you next time, and there's nothing Anyway, I think that having that in your life, especially like with what I do for a living, and even just the way I'm trying to train my kids too, I think there's so much value in that. And I think that that's been tamped down so much that we end up being stuck in this spot of where I was. I think our society almost is telling us to be in that place of like be at peace with everything and all stuff. And like I haven't found that to be true. No, why are we being at peace with everything? Why, like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Why not be like, no, I'm going to actually beat this stuff into submission. I'm going to try and be better than I was yesterday every day, you know, and obviously that's, you can't, I guess I'm getting way off track here. This comes all the way down to like, so Bennett in school, Bennett has no incentive in school to do well.
Yeah.
Right? So he's 6 years old, he's in first grade, right? Even I think in first grade for a boy and stuff like that, it's like, girls often can sit still and develop their reading skills, stuff like that. I'm like, all my boys have taken till third grade to do anything. Like they don't. They don't care at all.
No.
They
Why
have no
would you?
reason to care. Yeah, what's the incentive to care? They're still trying to figure out how to sit down for a little bit, and like that's driving them absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And so just the other day, I took that competitive part and basically gave Bennett permission. I said, okay, hey, you're just like not getting anything done, you know, and he starts working slower and slower, and then he forgets where he's at. He's like halfway through a word, doesn't remember what the word was that he was writing because he got distracted and he's going slow and all this stuff, and he just doesn't care. And I said, okay, I want you to be the best.
Yeah.
Like actually the best. You need to try and beat everyone in your class. Now you might not actually beat them, but you need to try.
Yeah.
Your work should look better than them. It should be done faster than them. And that's what we're working towards. And he got excited. Like,
really?
Oh, I can do that? All right. And it was a pretty quick turnaround to all of a sudden, you know, where this page of doing stuff, like he was doing these math problems. I was watching him struggle through them. And like, okay, we got this group of math problems, and his teacher sends once in a while. She's like, I really need to get this group of math problems done in under 3 minutes. Can we do that? So I told him like, okay, I think you can do this super fast. I'm going to time you, and you just do it as fast as you can. Okay. We're not worried about perfect. You write decently. If you write down the number backwards or wrong or something like that, put next to it, right next to it. We don't have time to erase. We're not doing any of that. This is all about speed. Okay. Yeah. And he did it in under 2 minutes.
Nice.
And this is something he couldn't complete in class at all.
Wow.
You know, so because there was nothing there. So we added the competitiveness as an incentive of like, let's try and be the best. Why not try and be the best? And if we're all trying to be the best, we all lift each other up. And that's good for our entire society. And so anyway, that's a huge tangent because I've kind of been right in the middle of that for a little while. But I think that that's so important that I think there is a place for peace to a degree, but in most things it's a fight, and we should be fighting, and we should be comfortable with doing that on a regular basis. And I think it makes everything and everybody better if you are, you know, and not fighting to tear people down, fighting to make you better. Right? And if everyone in his class is all trying to be the fastest and the best and all that, you're gonna have an incredible class.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that answers it all.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Way off there.
I think that,
but I think it is. We're always stay as an athlete, stay competitive. Why give it up? Why change? You know.
It's an interesting question because I think that these are random questions that came across, right? So it's not me coming up with them, but I have heard athletes talk about this. We've seen examples of this, and I think it's because people who put everything they have into that one thing, right? Their identity is wrapped solely up in the classic example is like the high school football star that then doesn't continue playing football because you can't continue playing. I mean, you kind of can now a little bit, but it's hard to play football like outside of high school if you're not good. You know,
and if your identity is you're a football player, and maybe you were incredible in high school and got all those accolades for it in high school, but high school to college is you could be the best in high school, and you might not get to college.
That is something that as an aside that people talk about, but I mean it's a real thing. I remember when I went to Eastern. You know, you're the best. You are the best in everywhere, and so is everybody else when you get to college. Especially go D1 college. Like, everyone's the best. Yeah. What do you? And
we're not even talking professional level.
No, that's not even elite. Not even that. It's just D1 college, and you're like, you were the best, and now here are 5 more guys, equal or better, because they were the best too, where they came from. You know, so
Well,
like, all right.
So I
different
think
field.
my answer escaped that in that I didn't have my identity wrapped in a sport that I couldn't keep doing.
Yeah.
So I can keep being competitive in running,
Yeah.
you know, and in snowboarding and skateboarding stuff, you're mostly competitive with yourself, and
Exactly.
but it's
Well,
still that you're still competitive.
and I think that's how I escaped it a little bit, is because pole vaulting, even though you compete against other people in the formal setting, you know, of
Right.
meets and that kind of stuff. But preseason and all the clubs I was in, you're training with these, especially in high school, you're training with these guys at different schools all year long. You're going to compete against them in the season, but like off season, you're just all trying to do good.
Right.
And you're trying to do better, and you're so stoked for someone else, and it's just a completely different atmosphere than like say like a sprinter who is like, no, I'm not gonna train with these guys I'm competing against. Like I'll train with my team, but then you already have the hierarchy set of who's the fastest in your team.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not really a lot of competition there, because it's most likely it's gonna stay.
But the
where it's at,
competitive
right?
you described, though, of having your summer camps with that, I think that's like the best form, right?
Exactly,
We're always
yeah.
competing against each other. And again, what we see in our culture, you know, in our skateboarding, snowboarding culture is so much that. Like, no, it's more like a session. We're all building each other. We're all
Right.
trying to do better than the other people.
I think that's what drew me to pole vaulting in a lot of ways, is because it was that. It was you're competing against yourself, and there's other people around, and you're competing against them too. But it's not like the race where it's like they're right there, and I'm actively trying to win.
Sure.
I'm actively trying to beat, which I did enjoy. Every time I ran a real race, I loved chasing people down. I love trying to compete in that way. But the pole vaulting, it rang truer, like the skateboarding and the snowboarding.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to do something really cool. Watch. I'll
That
give
is
you some
my-
really cool tool. Like, that's
That is
awesome
my
too,
favorite
you know?
style of that. And I miss having having someone that runs really similar to me. Like in
Right.
high school, I had Buzz and I.
Yeah.
I was a little faster than him at shorter distance, a little faster than me at longer distance, but we were darn close. And so
Yeah.
we're training together was so much fun, because
Yeah.
we'd beat each other all the time,
Yeah.
you know. But it's always close, and you just could keep like, oh, I'm gonna try and get you here, try and get you there. Then when you're training without him, I'm like, oh, I bet Buzz isn't doing this right now. I'm gonna do this, you know. And that encourages you to go out, you know, at 9:00 at night in December in the snow, and like, I'm gonna get it running because I know nobody else is that's gonna give me an edge, you know.
Exactly. Yeah,
And you do that, you come
exactly.
back, and you're like, and this is all for like. I remember more of the races he and I had after we'd go for a run for like we'd do what he'd call Tyson would call them LSD runs, long slow distance, and we just had basically head out for an hour and come back, right? And so you're supposed to just run for an hour. So you just find your friend, you're supposed to just talk, that kind of thing. It's supposed to be conversation pace. You go as fast as you want, but you got to be able to talk the whole time.
Yeah.
So we take off, and we just, you know, run for a long time, but there was always this unspoken thing because we never like said we were racing, you know.
Of course.
But you get within about a mile of school, and it's like someone goes a little faster, then the other guy's going a little faster, then you're just kind of going back and forth, a little faster, and then, you know, and the trees now are going by you pretty quick, and now we're like, now it's on, you know. We both know it, but no one said it, but it's on, you know.
Yeah.
And so we're flying through. I still think the fastest miles I ever ran were definitely those miles where we'd already run 6-7 miles, and now we're on a trail and we're flying, you know. And then and then you hit the fence. We have to hurdle the fence, and then all the way across the field was a dead sprint, you know. So again, we both knew at this point that this is a full-on race now.
I think that this issue is probably maybe more difficult for the people that needed to win, right? Not the people that need to compete, the people that need to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then you finish your career where you can't win anymore, and then what do you have left?
Sure.
Yeah, because like even like a runner, you can run forever. You can run your entire life, but if you're so used to everything being consumed with like winning, and you get first or second or third, whatever, at whatever level you're at, but that's your sole purpose is I'm trying to win. Then when you can't win anymore, you're like, oh well, I'm now 9th, 10th, 12th. I can't even qualify for the race.
Right.
Then why run?
And the fun of
You know?
competing is to find the group that's around what you're doing and compete with the people that, you know, because it's not fun to compete with someone that runs a totally different type of race than you, or
Yeah.
or just is not in the same place, or it's not fun just to go and beat someone by a mile or get beaten by a mile.
Yeah.
But that is the cool thing that I think running provides for everybody, though. If you want to be competitive, go find the race that you can be competitive in, or find a big race and be competitive with some of the people around you that are running your speed, right? And then and then so as you're running, you're like, I'm gonna try and catch that guy up there, and you can still play with all that stuff there, and you can still get that satisfaction of winning, or even getting beat and trying to learn from the guy that just beat you. Oh, what did he do different? Where did he push here? What did he do? And I think that's just fun, and it's good for growth and everything. But running has that opportunity where you can find whatever kind of race fits for what you're doing, because there's so much out there. But
and that's where that's what I think Nikki talked about that last year at Bloomsday. Like that was one of the things she found, was like who's the person next to her that she could stick with.
Yeah.
And maybe overtake at some point, but you just you find that groove with that person. I think this is a good question for certain people that doesn't apply to us.
I don't think it doesn't apply. And again, I think it applied in a little bit where, I didn't have, not an identity crisis, but actually maybe to a degree letting go with it. But I don't know. I don't buy the whole premise of the making your identity about certain things. Your identity is the things that you do and who you are and how you behave. It just is.
And it evolves.
So is my identity right now wrapped up into running quite a bit? Yeah, because that's what I'm spending a lot of my time doing. That's a lot of my focus right now. And so yes, absolutely, there's a lot of identity. It's not who I am. It's a large piece of who I am, because it's been most of my life.
Yeah.
And and if I stopped running tomorrow, would it still be a large piece of who I am? Yeah, because that's still a huge portion of my life. We're still devoted to that, and so it still is. And your identity is who you are. It's what you do. And there's nothing wrong with that,
Right, because man, I think I've fought my identity in a certain way of looking at it. I've fought my identity my entire life.
Yeah, you have.
I was.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course, it's clear to everybody, and I'm sure it's been clear to me for a while. I just I don't like to acknowledge it very often. But for forever, I'm good at sports. I'm good at physical things. I was a good track athlete. I'm a trainer. I have a gym, and I've never identified as that person. It's never been I've never wrapped myself up in it. At certain points, I've strongly resisted it. I didn't become a personal trainer for a long time, even though I knew it was a natural progression. I knew I'd probably be good at it, and I'd probably succeed, but I didn't do it. I actively did. I had somebody ask me, a former Olympian I know. He's like, "Why aren't you training?" And I just don't. I mean, I had a lot of excuses at the time, but the reality was I didn't want to identify as that. I didn't see the path. I didn't see. I didn't want to live in a gym. Ironically, I didn't want to. I didn't see the examples I had of it. I didn't like. Right.
I struggle with a lot of that too.
Realistic excuse. The examples I had. I'm like, oh well, I'm not that person though. So why would I go that route, right? But I wanted to identify. I wanted my identity to be something different. I wanted to be a skater and a musician and all these things, which I did also. Yeah. But the only thing that really rang true successfully was this: sports, athletics, training. And it's really funny to me. As you look back, I'm nearly 40 now, and I'm finally kind of basically accepting the fact, okay, I guess this is who I am.
Well, and then I wonder if, again, I think when you're younger, you think about your identity a whole lot more, and you think about that's because you're still trying to form it. You don't know who you are yet, especially junior high, you're barely a formed human. You literally have no idea and you're testing things to figure out who you are. And then in high school, some of those things start to click together. I'm probably going to head in this general direction, So you're putting together who you are, but you still have to really build up this persona of who you are. to even just pretend to be a real human, because you're still
Right.
not all the way. You're still not there yet.
Yeah.
And then I think you go through your 20s and 30s, and you have like this identity crisis. Probably was more where this question comes from. Is like, oh wait, I thought I was that, but now life's a bit different. Now I'm doing this job. No, is this who I am? Or is that who I am? And then I think you get on the other side of it and you realize that none of it mattered. You know, like you are a conglomeration of the things you just decided to do. And
Of
you know,
course.
it's like, you know, and the you know, if you could go back and talk to yourself at 13 years old, be like, hey, just do fun stuff. You
Yeah.
don't need to identify with this or with that or whatever. Just do your thing.
Exactly.
And then you will, like, kind of like what our bodies do automatically, is they form into what we teach it, to what we want it to do, right? So if we want to be, you know, if you want to do a certain activity, your body will slowly shape into what it needs to do that activity better. You know,
Yeah.
that will just happen.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, if I wanted to get good at basketball and I really focused on basketball alone, my body composition would change in order to work with that over the course of, you know, with basketball, it's a pretty different thing for me. So probably over the course of a couple of years,
Right.
but it would adjust into that sort of thing. And on more similar things, you watch it just real quickly, is like, oh, just start doing the activity a bunch. And pretty soon you start to have that body's activity, or that
Yeah.
activity's body.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. A lot of people. I mean, you can bodybuild all day long, and it works. It's really time consuming if you want
Yep.
those type of composition changes. But the reality is, like, who do you want to look like? Like, what type of athlete? So
Yeah.
go train like that athlete, and
Just
you
go do
will
that.
get your body will start to shift. You know, especially if you want the performance aspect of it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can
Just
you
do a
can
ton.
change your muscles composition, how they look, but they're not necessarily going to then perform like the person you're looking at unless you train like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Okay, wrapping it up. I just got my Garmin said I got a PR my 5K. Just
Oh,
now.
you did?
Yeah, I didn't, but it said
Oh,
I
okay.
did.
How
I
fast
did,
is your 5K? Did,
I did my-
did Garmin yell at you? Is your Garmin light to you or not?
It doesn't say anything to me.
Oh, okay. I hear people's Garmin's like telling them all kinds of things. Like, yeah, oh, you know, when they go hard, they're like, well, you should have rested today. Or when they rested, like,
I have
why
my
didn't you work harder?
settings. I have my settings so extreme on any goal that I can't turn off.
Oh,
So
okay.
it doesn't tell me anything.
Right.
About any of that stuff. Like my steps per day, because I couldn't figure out how to turn off my steps.
Yeah.
Or it like telling me things are at like 90,000.
Oh,
per
because it
day.
just keeps going.
Because
Yeah.
like I don't care about my steps. Don't
Right.
talk about it. No, I did my last hill day today. So I did my 3 mile with my Bloomsday hill, trying to push the hill.
Yeah.
Trying to go pretty quick up it, and I said my 3 miles was, because I actually ran like 4, just shy of 4, but my 5K was 21. What is it? 21 something. Oh, I missed it. Yeah, 21 something.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's not.
If that's
a
your
record for a
if that's your PR, you're going to be in trouble here in a week.
I know. Yeah,
'Cause,
not my PR.
Yeah, because you're going to have to go a lot quicker than that. But, yeah,
But
because we got to
what's
run that.
funny though, for the 3 miles with that hill, I mean, my first mile was 7. My second one, which had the up and the down in it, was 7:14. So a good half mile hill, still
Yeah.
averaged quick. And then my last mile was 6:37. So like it was good. It was decent.
Yeah. Yeah,
It wasn't
absolutely.
too crazy. So
Yeah.
And
I'm going to try and
oh,
get the first 3 miles in 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
If I can get there in 20 flat, I think I got a shot at the rest of it working okay.
I know. Wait, no, because that 20 minutes. That means we got to run. That's like around 6:40,
6:40.
right?
Yeah,
6:45?
6:30, 6:45s. Yeah.
I think I can average under 7 for the whole thing.
Yeah.
For all of Bloomsday, I think I can average under 7.
And so that first 3 miles is going to be key.
Yeah. Well, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do that downhill, that Peaceful Valley hill. I'm just gonna do that at like 5.
Oh, full speed.
And so
All out.
You know, it's like everything.
Yeah. I'm doing that one all out.
I am though, man. So this is my last. I did a hard hill just now. I'm gonna. I don't think I have time to work out tomorrow or Saturday. So Sunday, my last kind of what was my last long run day. But I'm not gonna do a long run. I'm gonna do the 10 8s, 10 800s.
I'm doing that tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
I haven't decided if I'm going to be strict with my rest time or not, or if I'm going to let it waver a little bit.
I think I'm going to try and accomplish it more than worry about.
Yeah.
Like, I think
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Doing 10 of them at 6-minute pace.
That's what I want to do too.
I'll have to pull off it, I'm sure. But I'm gonna aim at that. I'm gonna aim at 10 of them at 6-minute pace, and if I do that, yeah, that'll probably be my last speed interval day.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the week will just be like, no, just keep moving.
Yeah, I'm gonna do light legs, light plyos next week. Try to do an easy run. I have a busy week, like maybe once, maybe twice. Yeah. And then I need to run. Well, that'll be fine. But yeah, the 10. That's kind of what I was leaning towards. 10 800s on with that pace. I was thinking 6 over the 1 minute rest. Like, yeah. Strive for it, right? But not be super strict about that rest time.
Well, should we do 10 800s? Or should we do 8?
I'm doing 10.
All right, me too then.
Because that's the workout.
Because that is the workout.
It's 8 of the 2-minute ones. It's 10 of the 800s. So that's just what
that's the way it works.
Yeah, you can't change it. That's how it was written.
That's the workout. Yeah, that's our marathon workout. We're gonna run a 12K.
I've been doing my other intervals. I've been doing is quarters on my leg day. So after I finish all my legs, then I've been doing 5 quarters with shooting for just 1 minute rest too, and trying to hit quick, like minute 15 400s.
Nice.
So what's that pace?
74.
Huh?
75. Oh,
Huh?
Never mind. I was doing the wrong math.
Oh, okay. 70. No, 75 was.
That'd be 5-minute pace.
Yeah. That sounds right. So trying to keep my legs speed up for that. Okay, cool. Well, this is probably the last one we do before Bloomsday. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
When are you coming over?
Thursday. Like probably late afternoon, early evening.
Well, maybe we can do a live one just before Bloomsday.
Yeah, and then Friday, because we go get bibs on Friday probably.
Yeah.
Friday or Saturday. Okay, man.
Cool.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Okay. Well, good luck on the 10. You'll have to let me know how it goes.
Yeah, we'll do. Yep. Send the other way around.